Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat with Dr. Foojan.
What if your emotional life didn't have to feel like a constant reaction or a constant recovery? Welcome to the International Awareness Integration Institute Virtual Clinic, a global online clinic offering psychotherapy, coaching, integrative well-being services, and mind-body practices, all in one place. At International Awareness Integration Institute, we don't just talk about change, we train it. Our work is guided by awareness integration theory, an evidence-based psychological and educational model designed to reduce anxiety and depression patterns, strengthen emotional regulation, and help you build a life that feels meaningful, steady, and fulfilling. Whether you're navigating stress, relationship strain, burnout, life transitions, trauma symptoms, or simply the feeling that you've outgrown your old life, you'll find a clear path forward here, supported by licensed professionals and expert practitioners. If you're ready to feel better, think clearer, and live fully, join the International Awareness Integration Institute Virtual Clinic today. Visit awarenessintegration.com and book your first session or join our membership.
Into listening to my somatic wisdom, because my body was going to heal at the pace it was going to heal, and I couldn't push it and I couldn't force it. And actually, I had to let go of trying to fix it and just thought, okay, my body's going to do what it's going to do, but there's got to be some freedom from the mental prison I felt of not being able to work. And that's when my body started to go, oh, yes, good. So then it started to recover when I started to focus on meditation and my mind. And so I kind of realized that connection, the mind and body are talking to each other all.
Introducing a powerful new update from the Foojan app. Now with flexible subscription plans to fit your journey monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Our new AI-driven onboarding customizes your path to feeling better, faster, and enjoy a refreshed experience with stunning 3D interactive videos. Update now. Empower your inner voice with Foojan. Download today. If you've been doing your best, but still feel stuck in anxiety, relationship stress, or the weight of old patterns, this is where things begin to shift. At the Awareness Integration Institute Virtual Clinic, we offer something different. We provide two pathways forward. In psychotherapy, our licensed clinicians help heal unresolved trauma, reduce anxiety and depression, and navigate life transitions. In coaching, our certified coaches help you build confidence, leadership, and relationship mastery, turning insight into decisive action. Both are guided by Dr. Foojan Ze's evidence-based awareness integration theory, a structured roadmap from awareness to integration to action. During our summit, save 25% on all services from March 22nd through 29th. Visit awarenessintegration.com to book your first session or request to be matched with the right provider.
Welcome to the Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Foojan Ze, a psychotherapist and author and the founder of the International Awareness Integration Institute. So today I will be talking with Celia Bray. She is a psychologist, a somatic therapist, and an award-winning author of Inscribed Your Body's Hidden Script. With over 20 years experience, she has worked internationally across Australia, India, Kenya, and beyond, and blending psychology with embodied healing practices. Celia is the founder of the Somatic Psychology International, where she supports people to unlock wisdom written in their bodies so they can heal, grow, and live authentically. She also facilitates open floor movement therapy in motion and family constellations, empowering individuals and communities to reconnect with their freedom and joy. Now, I had a really awesome experience talking to Celia, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. And it's really looking at specific ways of how to connect with your body, allow your body to lead, and live really authentically with all of who you are. So I'm positive you'll enjoy it as much as I do. Now be sure to subscribe to my podcast, my YouTube channel, and connect with me through my website, foojanze.com. We have created the International Awareness Integration Institute virtual clinic. So you can go to awarenessintegration.com and pick and choose your psychotherapist, your coach, all of the mind and body coaches and practitioners and functional medicine. And you can do that from anywhere in the world. So that's there. And go to Foojan app and enjoy your guided journaling through the Foojan app and the Mira, which is the AI chatbot, which has been trained in the awareness integration theory. Share your thoughts with me. I love to hear from you. Now, without further ado, here's Celia Bray.
Listen up if you want to promote your personal growth and self-awareness. I found the Foojan app last month and I have been absolutely loving it. I personally have never learned guided meditation, but thanks to this app, I now have learned incredible tools for my own stress relief and emotional self-awareness. Not to mention, there are self-evaluation tools and professional coaching available to utilize however your journey to self-discovery takes you. Join Foojan today and redefine your life one step at a time.
Now, sometimes the mind understands, but the body still holds the stress. That's why the International Awareness Integration Institute Virtual Clinic offers mind-body services that help you regulate your nervous system, restore calm, and return to yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally. Our reflective practices include guided mindfulness, breath work, yoga, and grounding exercises, and specifically curated to support emotional regulation and physiological calm. Our somatic integration practices are a refined body-led approach where healing begins with presence, working with breath, sensation, posture, and gentle movement so resilience becomes felt, not forced. And for those who want deeper whole person support, we offer functional well-being guidance, addressing the interplay between hormonal balance, digestion, sleep architecture, and lifestyle factors with a root cause holistic framework. This is not self-care as a luxury. This is self-regulation as a life skill and a pathway to fulfillment. Choose the support your body and life have been asking for. Visit awarenessintegration.com to join a weekly meditation, explore somatic healing, breathwork, yoga-inspired movement, or functional medicine services, and start feeling the difference.
Well, I'm so excited to have Celia Bray with us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Foojan. It's amazing to be here.
So you have written a book about, it's called Inscribed Your Body's Hidden Script.
Yes.
So what got you interested as a psychologist into looking at your body? A lot of psychologists are kind of, their vicinity stays with the mind and the emotions. But you've also have gone into having some importance around the body. So what brought this passion for you?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think when I was in my 20s, I got really, really critically sick and I had to just quit work and I couldn't work for 5 years. Like it was a huge journey of who am I if I can't be in the mainstream world. But what I also got with that was a different relationship with my body. So I used to think that I had to fix my body before I could have a great life. But actually, my body wasn't playing ball. I tried everything. Like I got chickenpox, and then I got this rare complication of chickenpox called encephalomyelitis, which is inflammation of the brain and the spinal cord. So I was unconscious and in a coma for a week. I couldn't walk. I was in a wheelchair. I was 27. So I just went from graduating from uni and in my first job and really kind of getting into the world. And suddenly I was knocked out of the world. And suddenly my body became this all-consuming, it doesn't even function very well. And but it actually really got me listening to it and before that I was so logical and just, my body's just a machine to get me from A to B, and I want it to look nice. But so that really kind of tipped me into, well, actually my body's trying to tell me something. I can't push too hard anymore. I need to listen. But I also recognized that actually if I don't listen enough, it's just going to derail me again. I feel like it was a gift in some ways to help me come into that. So that really was my baptism of fire into listening to my somatic wisdom, because my body was going to heal at the pace it was going to heal, and I couldn't push it and I couldn't force it. And actually, I had to let go of trying to fix it and just thought, okay, my body's going to do what it's going to do, but there's got to be some freedom from the mental prison I felt of not being able to work. And that's when my body started to go, oh, yes, good. So then it started to recover when I started to focus on meditation and my mind. And so I kind of realized that connection, the mind and body are talking to each other all the time. And so that was one of my personal experience around it. And bringing it into my work came a little bit later, but that's, where I think it all started.
So when you're looking at the body having a stubborn message, which is like, no, we're not doing it that way. We are going to do it this way. And it's almost like becoming aware of it, hearing it, honoring it, and then having some level of negotiation with it, it seems like, for your body and mind to be able to move forward with whatever it is that your intention is. I remember myself, I have a lot of, my body would hold, because I've had a lot of traumas in the childhood, and my body would hold a lot of the tension. So I was going through a lot of pain in different parts of my body, and it seemed like the stress that was holding it, I had to go through a lot of emotional release and a lot of trauma work in order to be able to release. And it's amazing that no matter how much I worked even on, not only my psyche, but emotions and then the body, there's still, after 20 years, elements of the same traumas that are releasing from my body. And I still get surprised. Do you get surprised by this?
I do. And in some ways, like similar to you, like I've done a lot of my own work, and sometimes I'm like, really, this is coming back again. I should be over this by now. Like the mental narrative I have to make myself wrong. But that's part of how, like, it's not only that we fight our own physical experience and create the tensions because we don't feel safe to feel. We also fight our own mental constructs. It's like, well, no, I should be kind to myself and I shouldn't be, and so we have this like on all fronts, this resistance to whatever we're feeling and thinking. And so it's no wonder we have tension in our bodies. And so I do get like frustrated sometimes, but actually what I'm realizing is it's the next level. Like it's the next level of surrender and learning to trust. Because my life now is a practice of trusting my somatic wisdom, no matter how crazy my mind thinks it is. So now I've packed up my life in Australia. I now live in India because that's what feels like home. My mind says this is not, sensible, but my body's leading me, and I just really love that. Doesn't mean I don't have meltdowns, like I still do, and I just go, well, this meltdown is another level. But at the same time, when I'm in it and I'm drowning in it, I'm like, similarly, what's going on? I've still got all this tension. So yeah.
You said my body is leading me. I want to hold on to that and say, how? Like, how does it lead you? How do you listen to it? How do you allow it to lead you? How do you create trust? And I know one of the chapters in your book is, can I trust it, and how do I trust the message that shows up, from my body? Because sometimes I know I've gone through this myself for a while when I was a child, and I learned not to. And I see it a lot with my clients, that when the body is uncomfortable, we tend to just leave it. It's more like, forget it. I don't want to deal with you. I don't know what to do with you. So bye-bye. We kind of like disconnect from it, versus the concept that you're sharing, which is actually please connect and let it lead. How do you do that?
Yeah, really important question. So For me, I practice being in my body every morning and in the evenings, literally just kind of closing my eyes and noticing what sensations I'm feeling in my body. If my body wants to move and it's like, I've kind of like I've had this stressful and I'm just like, like I'll just let it do that. Like like it doesn't have to make any sense to me, but I've just got this energy in my body and my body wants to move. So I'll follow it. And in terms of big decisions in my life, like my body tends to be super strong about that. Like I just have this little inkling, like actually, I don't know if this is the right job for me. Like it feels like I'm a square peg in a round hole, but my mind's like, no, it's secure. And like I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to do all the things. I'm looking after the family. I'm the breadwinner. But my body's going, and then it gets to a point where my body says is so loud, like I end up feeling exhausted. I'm dragging myself to work because I've been ignoring the wisdom of my body. And it just gets louder and louder to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I need to resign. I might not, my husband might not have a job right now, and I don't know where the money's going to come from, but I need to honor my body because I can't override it anymore. And it's so terrifying. But the interesting thing is, every time I've done the hard no and I've put the line in the sand, some miracle opens up. Like I resigned from my job, and then a month later my husband got work and he was able to support us, and I had no idea that was going to happen. And so it's the same thing with like this situation in India recently where I felt really uncomfortable with a person who wanted to catch up with me and wanted to be friends, but he's actually in a position of power. He's a police officer who can manages my visa applications, and I'm like, I can't do that. There's a power imbalance here. But I was scared to say no. My mind was saying if I say no to him being friends, then he could reject my visa. And so I was in this real, and then I'm just like, you know what? I need to say no, and the consequences will be whatever they are. Like, I just need to honor me. And the moment I said no to this person, I just felt peace. And so whatever happens, there's a letting go of needing to control the outcome that's essential in trusting your body. There's a letting go of having to know what's going to happen because the body doesn't speak in a 5-year plan. The body doesn't sit down and that's the mind. So there's a trust that needs to develop, and those little signals, the gut feeling that you have, the little, oh, this isn't quite right fit. Like we know it. We all know it. Our minds just don't want to trust it because we're conditioned to have this like structured life. So that's trust the niggle, trust the little whisper that's like, oh, maybe I do want to go in this direction, and maybe I do want to change careers, maybe this relationship isn't quite working for me, or whatever it is, just trust it and just see what happens.
So there's a part of our essence and where it does get the information from outside and it responds to it. And that response that initially is showing up and it's kind of uncertain on many other aspects, it might not fit yet into our rational or analyzation part. And what you're saying is, before, I remember, we used to just deny it. Like, okay, if it doesn't fit into the rational, then forget it. It just is not logical. We're not going to do it. Mm-hmm. What I hear from you is that the information that comes intuitively from our body, it is also a valid information. So you can't dismiss it, because if you're dismissing it, it will, you will pay the price in one way or another. So holding that information that shows up in your body, and it shows up as an intuitive mark, or it shows up as a particular feeling, or even a sense in, it's like, it might be a disgust, or it might be your muscles like holding suddenly or withdrawing. So your body has a reaction to that. And what I hear you say is, listen to it and give it validity. Don't dismiss it if it doesn't fit all of the rational pieces yet. If you take it seriously first, then you could kind of align it to all the other pieces of rationale. Or sometimes you might just trust it and move forward to say, okay, am I going to be safe? Maybe I don't know all the, nuances of what will happen. Maybe I'm still living in some sort of uncertainty if I live with this, but I'm just going to allow it to lead me as a valid information. Am I catching kind of that right?
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way to put it because I firmly believe, and I see it with clients as well, that our bodies know how to thrive. They want to thrive. But because we have trouble being with the discomfort in our bodies, like the pain or the aches or the zip and zap of anxiety when it floods our system, we then check out, as you say before, and then we don't trust it. But we have to learn to be able to be with all of it because it knows how to let go of tension. It knows how to heal. It's on our team. And if we can be with it and learn how to just feel safe to feel all of our experience, then I just believe we can't go wrong because we then work in alignment with how we're designed. Like our mind is conditioned, like our families, our society, but our body, we've been sensing whether we feel safe or not in the world since we were conceived. Like it has this beautiful intelligence. So really listening to it, and then wonders open up in life. Like just you get to be in the moment. You get to like suddenly feel like you meet these amazing people that you wouldn't have otherwise met because you just had this instinct. I'm going to turn left today instead of right on my walk. Like that's some of the ways you can listen to your body. Which way does my body want to go on my walk today? What does my body want to eat this morning as opposed to my mind? My mind always goes for the chocolate, but my body usually wants to go for something else. And so it's kind of those little decisions that can be opening up the wisdom of the body as well. It doesn't have to be the big job and the big relationship stuff. It's just moment by moment what feels like it's what I'm needed.
And you also talk in your book about hidden scripts that are there that obviously create our belief systems, create our personality, and it gets informed by probably ways of surviving, right? Like we've learned how to protect ourselves, we've learned how to survive, we've learned how to create all of these coping mechanisms around us with all of these kind of scripts, which we've put them in automation and they're automatically moving us forward. And therefore, when we're living in that we're not in the present moment, which our body, as you said, keeps sharing what's happening in the present moment. Can you share a little bit about that?
Well, all of us have amazing strengths, and even our strengths are actually often survival mechanisms because we were overwhelmed in our body as children. So some of us learned to be people pleasers, like because that's the way we got to feel safe in our bodies, or get like not be in trouble. I think I'm going to start that. That's got tangled up there, but like that sense of if I please people, I'll be okay, and then our bodies can settle. And some of us become really like success is the way that we get approval, and it's flooding our body because we had a moment of failure as a kid. At least that was our experience, and the experience in our body was so overwhelming that we decided, not consciously, we decided, I'm never going to experience that again. So I am going to work really hard and I'm going to be fantastic at whatever I do, because that experience, that defining experience, in your mind, you might have thought it was terrible, but actually it's your body that's keeping you from ever experiencing that again. So it shapes our lives, all those formative little moments where we felt like we were not forgotten to be picked up at school, after school, the last kid, and everyone else has gone home with their parents, it's getting dark, and it might not be a big trauma, but in our system, when we're dependent, then as a child we get overwhelmed, and then it's like, okay, how do I avoid this ever happening again? Well, I'm just not going to need people. And so then we become super independent, and that becomes this like major strength people see. But actually, we can be scared to need people. Will you really be there for me? Will you really trust me? Our nervous system goes into overwhelm because the idea of trusting someone, because we have to sort it out ourselves in case we get let down again. So those formative experiences are in the body and they are absolutely steering our lives. Until we can be with the experience of, you know what, it's okay if this person lets me down, I can handle my feeling, I can handle what I experience, then we stay trapped in being hyper independent. So I was super independent as a kid, and growing up, I wouldn't even let my first boyfriend buy me a cup of coffee because I wouldn't depend on anybody. I'm like, I'm not owing anyone because it wasn't safe. And it wasn't when I got sick, and suddenly I was being showered, I was being wheeled around, like I went from one extreme to the other. But I needed something like that. It was a crazy intervention to actually learn it's okay to need people. So that's how those formative experiences stay in a script in our body and start to shape our lives.
Everyone, get this book.
Ah,
Inscribed Your Body's Hidden Script. Decode your body's wisdom for, I need my glasses here. Decode your body's wisdom for emotional healing, wise choices, and path to an awesome life. A practical guide and toolkit using somatic therapy. And by Celia Bray. Celia, you were talking about the essence that we have inside that we need to listen to. And I wonder what are some of the ways that we could practice that listening? So yes, meditation I think is one way, but some meditation is not necessarily, listening to your body. Some of it is more like, just observing things and moving forward or quieting the mind. What are some of the somatic practices that you do for yourself and you offer your clients?
yeah. So some of the things are about feeling safe in our bodies to feel. That's the first step. And it's actually the critical step. That's the core of my inquiry in my life is how do we feel safe to feel? Otherwise we'll keep checking out. Distractions like our phones, social media, things like that are perfect ways to check out. So some of the things that we can do to check in can be as simple as just taking your shoes off and feeling the grass under your feet. Feeling the air on your skin, just taking a moment to pause and come back, that mindfulness practice. Simple things. Other things are like the somatic holds that people like Peter Levine have developed. Well, one of them is that you can put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly and just notice your breathing. So if you start to feel like you're starting to feel a little anxious, it's just like, so we need to slow down. We cannot connect with ourselves if we're always on the run. So we have to take at least a few minutes to pause. Otherwise, we just stay disconnected. So that's the critical first step. So you know what? I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes. And I'm just going to pause and I'm going to notice my feet on the ground. I might do a somatic hold. And I'm just going to notice what I'm feeling. And say, I see you. Like it's okay. How I'm feeling right now is okay. And then check in. Is this what I really want to do right now in this moment? What actually, because often when we're triggered, we've had a conversation with someone and a bit of an argument, we want to go back or we want to shut down or whatever it is, that's the inscribed, that's the hidden script, right? Our automatic response. If you pause for a moment and say, actually, right now, I can't respond the way I want to, so I need to take a break. But you can't do that unless we pause and just check in for a moment. So that literally taking a breath, feeling our feet on the ground, feeling your seat in the chair, breathing into your pelvis, like just gentle, small things. And as I was saying before as well, simple things like, what do I want to wear today? Like, what does my body light up when I look at my wardrobe? Like, it could be like it's not very practical because I've got a meeting with the boss, so I need to wear X, Y, and Z. That's what we normally think or whatever. But it's like well, what lights me up? What does my body say? Yes, I want to wear my, really bright top today, or I want to just wear my daggies. Like it's just kind of listening in those little ways as well, rather than well, I've got to wear this because I've got, all the people I need to meet and see. Doesn't mean you necessarily choose what your body's saying, because sometimes our bodies are actually like informed by the wounds. And so we need to say, you know what, I recognize I'm triggered right now. I'm really anxious. So let me just notice that and recognize that I need to look after myself before I respond in a particular situation. So there's some of the little ways that we do it. But a lot of people are terrified to even feel into their bodies. And so that safety is often about creating relationship. And that's what I'm researching at the moment too. How do we create a sense of relational field where I feel like I'm not alone? People that didn't have any secure attachment growing up are often the ones that are the most terrified to feel what's in their body. So that primary attachment piece is also part of the repair. So then people can feel safe to check in with themselves and feel. So there's a bit of work to do sometimes to get to the point where it's safe to check in.
It's interesting. I have gone from, holding my emotions and not expressing it and always having, okay, you have to express yourself as a professional this way. I think probably within the past couple of years, I've the way that I express, whether it's sadness or joy or love, is and even like anger, it's been through crying. So I no longer hold it back. It's almost like I became safe with not only my body, but my expression, where it's no longer like, if people are going to judge me, I'm just creating the safety around myself. So, like I'm a keynote speaker and thousands of people standing there, and I'm like, I'm a crier. The good thing is I can cry and talk, so don't worry about it. And I cry and talk. We had the summit yesterday because we're opening this, the International Awareness Integration Clinic. And as I'm sharing and I'm in the middle of the keynote talk, and I start crying, and I'm like, don't worry about me, I'm just crying. And I start talking and crying. Or like, I'm tired at the end of the night after like 14 hours of work, and I'm tired, and I just start crying. So it's interesting that I've allowed my body to release in this methodology. And it doesn't matter what emotion it is, whether I'm tired or I'm sad or I'm in love or I'm just excited and, absolutely all that. So it's just, okay, it just wants to release this way in a crying. And I've allowed it to do, and I've kind of like protected it, right? By stating it, like, because usually when people cry, everybody's like, oh my God, like, what's going, so I kind of state, it's okay. This is the way it's going to be. So don't worry about that piece. Just hear to what I say. And when you were talking about how to create the safety in the relational piece, I just wanted to share that, that's like, regardless of the external feedback, I've created this concept that it's okay for me to cry, regardless of who wants to think what, because if I hold it, I get a headache. If I hold it, I actually, let go of being in the present moment and the beauty of whatever it is that I'm expressing.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. So what difference has it made for you to give yourself that freedom? Sounds like you're much more like as you're talking, I'm hearing you feel really alive, you feel connected to yourself, but also what you're talking about and the audience as well, because you're being authentic. You're not trying to hold it together to be a certain way. You're being real. So it sounds like there's a lot more like aliveness. It sounds beautiful.
Very authentic. It's right here. It's the truth. And I think, you connect with whomever you're talking because you're connecting with your body, you're connecting and you're creating that safety. You are, expressing yourself in that way that creates safety. And I've noticed even, when I'm expressing, even if I'm angry at something that, just expressing my anger creates a non-safety for other people, where even my anger comes through the releasing of that moment. it creates softness. My anger is valid with whatever it is, but at least the expression of it creates softness and not weakness. And I think that's the difference. Like at one point, it's like, oh my God, if I cry, I feel weak. So it's like shifting that it's not. It's actually pretty powerful in connection. So that's how like the script changed for me in expressing my body. Yeah. I wanted to ask this because I know you have that also in your book, the bridging of science and wisdom, the wisdom of the body, integrating the modern psychology, neuroscience, and the ancient cultures and all the practices that we get from our ancient culture to support this kind of like holistic well-being that we have, and kind of like living what we share, like living authentically, that it's okay if you have an experience inside and how you choose to express it in that way. But can you bring all of those together?
Yeah. So I am someone who learns by experience as well. So for me, like I made a decision, do I want to do a master's in international development because I was doing a lot of development work, or do I just want to go and work in Kenya and India and different places and actually be there and breathe in the air and the dust and the texture and the culture of and the of the place that I'm in. So from that perspective, like being an experiential learner, I really got to go to different countries and see some of these beautiful embodied cultures that I just was like, wow. When I got back to Australia, I felt like we were heads on sticks in Australia. We were just kind of floating along the pavement, like without any embodiment. Whereas in Kenya, there's these beautiful big mamas that are earthman there. And so really bringing in that self-expression that is full body in some of those cultures, and just how expressive people are. It doesn't mean I'm idealizing it. There's definitely challenges in those places, but it's something that we don't even realize we're missing. And so with the science that we have, there's just a lot of science around intergenerational trauma as well that gets passed on genetically, and that we carry the stories of our ancestors in our bodies. So that is being the epigenetics of that. But when you look at the ancestral patterns in our families, we can see that as well. So there's this beautiful kind of fusion now that's happening in our world. And in India as well, like this, India's biggest export is their spirituality, but it's actually embodied healing. It's the yoga, it's the meditation, and often movement meditation. Like I'm a movement therapist. So meditation for me is not just about sitting still. It's actually about listening and letting ourselves move, because some of us just don't, sitting still is not our thing. So it's really bringing those beautiful worlds together, which is finally happening through the science. It's almost like the science is catching up with what Indigenous cultures have known for a really long time. And embedded in their culture, movement and dance is a huge part of African and Indian culture. But in Australia, don't quite know what it's like in the US comparatively, but in Australia, especially men, I'm not going to dance until I've had a few beers, mate. Like there's not that confidence in our body as a part of our emotional expression. Like crying, for example, is a part of that. So it's nice that these worlds are coming together.
It's interesting you shared about India. I went to the first time and the last time I've been there. I've been to the Brahma Kumaris, annual retreat, and it was amazing. It was almost like, I don't know, 7 to 10,000 people from across the world, where everybody was there, and just you really saw like the best of humanity come together. And I remember we went to open, it was like an opening of a hospital. So this group went in, and, the ribbon cutting and all of that. And we were all there, and we were sitting in this very professional, all the doctors, all the nurses, everybody was there and talking about the latest that was happening in the hospital. And then suddenly they put the music and they're all dancing. And I'm sitting, I'm like, wow, that's so awesome. In the middle of a professional meeting, the culture shows up and they're all dancing together, and getting all of us up, and for us to dance, and just brought joy into a whole concept. Like it's an expression of your body and the joy, and a welcoming of how we could do that with dance and movement, and another way of just connecting with our body, and our body also having the concept of expressing itself.
Yeah,
Anything you want
yeah.
to share that you really, really want people to know?
Well, just riffing off what you've just said, we associate somatic therapies with trauma healing, and it's all very heavy, and we're dealing with these core wounds. But in actual fact, like there's so much joy. It's about being fully alive. It's about being able to embrace all of who we are and feel the intrinsic joy that pulses through our veins. So that's why in my book I talk about wise choices and creating an awesome life, because that's what is available. So I just want to encourage people just to trust their bodies, not just for healing wounds, but actually just living a beautiful, joyful life.
When you said that, I recall I was talking to a client who's very, very depressed, and he couldn't like get up in the morning. Like as long as he got himself up in the morning and went to work and just kind of focused to work, the 8 hours that he was working, he was okay. And then he would come home and like go into that space. So we were talking about in the morning, what else can we do? Can we shift something in the mornings? And I suggested for him to put cardio music, and he goes, cardio music? I said, yeah, just, instead of your alarm clock, just put cardio music. And I experienced that before. Like I was like, oh, I don't want to go exercise. And for a while I put in the cardio music as just, wake up call. And even as I'm laying down, like, I don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up. The music itself just would move my body to wake up and go do something. And then the week after, I said, how is it going in the mornings? Fine. I said, oh, good. Like, what happened? He says, yeah, I didn't like the cardio music, but I found all these good dancing musics. So I just put it in there as I'm, brushing my teeth. The dancing music is happening. And I said, what's happening to your body? He said, it moves by itself. I do my thing. My body moves with this music. And it's so amazing that this, person who just couldn't get off the bed was shifting with this kind of, the music somehow giving his body a joy to move forward. And it was really sweet to see how, listening, like what you have in your book, listening, allowing our body to lead, will get us moving and creating the life that we want.
That is a beautiful story. I love that.
Where
Yeah.
can people find you?
So you can find me at my website, which is somaticpsychologyinternational.com. That's probably the easiest way to find me. So somaticpsychologyinternational.com. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me today. It's been lovely just having a beautiful conversation.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you, everyone. I'm asking you to go get this book, Inscribed, Your Body's Hidden Script by Celia Bray. Celia, it's been a joy to have you, and thank you for coming all the way from India to us.
You're very welcome. Namaste.
Namaste. And for
And
all
a bit of a Bollywood move to finish.
Oh, beautiful. And for all of you who are here with us, create an amazing life for yourself and everyone around you. And until next week, bye-bye.
Awareness, integration theory, certification programs. If you're a psychotherapist, clinician, or coach ready to elevate your impact, I invite you to become certified in the Awareness Integration Theory, AIT model. AIT is a structured, evidence-informed approach that strengthens emotional regulation, reduces anxiety and depression patterns, and helps clients create lasting change. Our training is practical, clear, and immediately usable in sessions, so you can work with more confidence and consistency. Join a global community of practitioners shaping the future of integrative mental health. Become AIT certified today. Visit awarenessintegration.com.